Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Ladies, understand something. The top end of a woman's weight is 145 pounds. Okay. My mother's 5'9", and she was 145 pounds until she was 50. That's the top end of your weight, because there should be about a 40-pound difference between you and men.
Basically, if the guy is rich, what ends up happening is the lawyer contacts the person and be like, hey, you know, your name gonna be all in the paper, so you might as well just settle out of court.
I can recognize talent. Even if I don't agree with the politics, a lot of the politics that was underlying in the show and some of the sentiments he was trying to share, I recognize artistry when an artist is present.
Yes, this is the definition of absolutely cooked. We'll never go back and take a look at her bad decision and take accountability for any of that.
Because there is powerful people in the industry, somehow there is a different law that applies to them. And I agree with that assessment.
What's going on, people's peace, blessings, great praise, and honor to the Most High. Thank you for being in the building for us this Monday. I hope all is well with everybody this Monday. I hope you're feeling good. Feels good to be back. I always miss doing this. Happy Easter. I didn't get to say it to a lot of you. I hope you enjoyed your family. That was definitely a day that you should have been reflecting on the grace and the mercy that is bestowed on us on a daily basis. Whether or not you acknowledge a higher being or not, something keeps us grounded, keeps us humble, and keeps us covered throughout the week and throughout the year. I got a good one for us tonight. I want everybody's participation, if possible, on this. This is an interesting one. Do me a solid. Make sure you are locked in. Like, repost, share, let the people know that we are on. This especially for the ladies, man. It's going to be some perspectives here that I'm fascinated by hearing. Let me see real quick. Shout out to my poets, my writers, my content creators. Salutes, much love to you. Appreciate what you do on and off screen. I got Rob in the building. I got Sydney in the building. I'm going to bring them up. I got a video that I want to play. But make sure that you are locked in, following me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are. Tap in with us. If you have any conversation pieces that you want to see us bring up, anything science related, anything, and hit me up. I'll present it to the panel and we'll do our best to give you what you want out of it. Rob, Sydney, I'm gonna let y'all introduce yourselves to the people for those not familiar with you. Let's go. What's up? What's up? What's up? Hold on.
Go.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
What's good? What's good? What's good? I'm all right. I'm all right. Another Monday down. I'm just grateful to be here with good company. No complaints. I won't complain, even if I have complaints to complain about. So, how about yourself?
Not too bad. My son is going to do capoeira for the first time with my husband. So I'm pretty excited for him. This is his first time doing like a class with somebody other than myself. So it'll be pretty cool. I'm excited for him to start getting himself out there and potentially make friends his age, and find some playmates his age that aren't 2 and can't talk to them. Can't talk to Denali yet. But other than that, I've been doing pretty well. I found out today that fresh squeezed orange juice does not taste like store-bought orange juice, and I was quite disappointed. I tried to make a cup out of an orange. One, I definitely understood how much oranges you would need to make a cup of orange juice, but 2, it was not good. It I don't know what I did wrong, but definitely was not the same as something that I get in a carton. So I don't know what they do, but it was not good.
I know what they do. Sugar, azúcar.
Yeah, that's about the size of it.
For real. What up, everybody? It's good to see y'all, man. Happy to be here. Ready to get to it. I see you got another nail biter.
Oh yeah. Look, the original video I had was similar to this, but it wasn't worded in the same way. But it's the same concept. So before I even give my take on it, I have to hear from you and Sydney about this one. So I don't influence nothing that's being said, because I'm curious to know, if this is factual, or we need to unpeel this a little bit more and really get to the bottom of it, so there's no confusion about it. It's about a minute plus. Shout out to TikTok again. I appreciate your contributions. This one is from AOE Podcast, which is ironic. That is, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the clip. And then we're just going to, if everybody has any feedback, share your comment, or if you have questions, let me get this up on the screen. Real quick. Here we go.
I'm gonna tell you what's super crazy. Like, I remember, not even so much remember, but I'm hearing older men always say this: stop telling your wife everything. I didn't understand why the old man would say that, right? Like, don't tell your mate, don't tell your girlfriend, don't tell them everything, right? I kind of want to say this pertains to men as well, to a degree. It depends on what we're talking about, right? Some things you got to tell them, right? Let's really be honest. Some things you just got to tell them. But I understand now clearly why the men back in the day would say, don't tell your spouse everything. And the reason for that is, the truth is, like, come a little closer. I want to tell you, come a little closer. They can't handle it all. I get it. You think that you have a person that's strong. You think you have a person that can take it, what you're about to tell them, because you want to be honest. But the truth of the matter is, some people can't handle the truth. And the truth does not make them feel comfortable. Sometimes the truth make them feel insecure. So I'm
It's just another one that's been a conversational piece for a long time. Nobody really talks about that too much either. I've had these before in the past, but they never really go anywhere. And I came across it and said, hey, let's go ahead and agree. Because I think that what he said, well, I'm gonna reserve my thoughts on that. Sydney, what you got? How you feel?
I kind of want Rob to go first, just to. I'm still trying to figure out what my opinion is.
Trying to get me in trouble. No, I think it's, I think it's a new day. I mean, it's certain stuff you're not going to, it's certain stuff you're not going to say. But at the same time, I think in a good relationship, mostly everything should be known. So if I'm talking to you, Deep, and we talking about something, I'm not going to tell it. You know what I'm saying? If I'm talking to my best friend, my guys, I'm not going to share everything, but I will share everything pertinent. You know what I'm saying? Everything that needs to be known is going to be known. That way, it don't be nothing. But do I share everything I talk about with my guys? No. You know what I'm saying? That's that's just that's bro code, kind of. You know what I mean? We're gonna stick to that bro code. If it's not relevant to the situation, I probably won't say nothing. I'm not really how should I say this? Like I say, y'all put me in a rock and a hard place. I don't say much anyway when I talk to, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times I don't. Like a lot of times on purpose, if I'm talking to somebody, it go through one ear and out the other. You know what I'm saying? And if it's not put food on our table, or if it's not about playing oriented or what we're trying to do, the goals we have, then I'm not gonna say much about nothing.
So from a logical perspective, we both, we don't have very much overlap with our friend groups because we didn't meet until after I was basically getting out of college and already had kind of formed my friendships, and he had already formed his friendships. So we were mostly just we had our friendships. Occasionally they would kind of cross over, but for the most part, I do talk to his friends, and his friends talk to me, and he doesn't really talk to my friends, but most of my friends are girls. So I can't imagine he has anything to talk to them about anyways. But I've never really been bothered thinking about oh, what is he saying to them when I'm not there? I already kind of know what they talk about anyways. I already know what he's interested. I already know what their conversations are. And they're part of the D&D crowd. They're into video games. They're into world stuff, building and whatever. So that's like what they talk about 90% of the time. Maybe they might like talk about some joke or some external thing that happened that they're all joking about. But yeah, I know him and I trust him, and he doesn't act shady. Like, he doesn't run off to his room with his microphone and headphones and act weird or anything. So it's like there's no reason for me to pry and be like, what are you talking about with them? Like, I as a wife and a girl, or as his girl, will sometimes be like, hey, what are you talking about? You need to tell me the joke. Like, what are you guys doing? But I'm never going to like come at him hostile about it, be like, you need to share everything that you're talking about with them with me, because I need to know everything that is going on between you guys and whatever. If like he has a friend that is a female, and I will ask about her sometimes, but again, I trust him. I know who she is and I know why they're friends and stuff like that. And so I've never been like, show me your phone, I want to see what you guys talk to about with each other. So I feel like when a woman does that to her man, she either has insecurity or trust issues, or both. She does not respect him enough to trust him, or he has given her reasons not to be trusted. And so she's insecure in that relationship, and she feels the need to validate her concerns by looking into all of his activities. So I think that's basically where it comes from, which is why you don't see that in every relationship. You see various degrees of it. Like, some of them are just like, I want to see your text just to make sure, where some people are like, no, I'm going to go through every single conversation. I want your email. Like, but yeah, I think that's all really rooted in your insecurity, your understanding of who you're with, and then the trust.
All right, so my initial thoughts, just to kick this off. I don't believe that if you're going to say I do to someone, or you're in we're not talking about just randomly dating. We're talking about actually being in a serious relationship with someone, monogamous. I assume that that's your friend. Because to me, to have a relationship of any value, they have to be your friend. If they're not your friend, the relationship isn't really going to last much long. So let's already assume that's your friend. I don't think there should be any secrets. I don't think that you should be in fear of speaking on your demons. I don't think you should be afraid of being vulnerable to them to a certain extent. I don't believe that you should withhold anything from your partner whatsoever, if that's really your partner. The way I see it, you know the truth, or what I am and life becoming, where I came from, versus you learning about it in variations that were outsourced from other entities. I would prefer you hear it from me, right? Because if you got to hear it from something else, it can get misconstrued and have you questioning, well, who is this person I'm laying next to? We don't want that. I want all of the cards on the table, because if you're going to ride for me and you're going to be the one in the hospital telling them my blood type, and I got your name and you're all on documents and stuff like that, you should absolutely know everything. Especially if that's your spouse. If that's your spouse, they should have a lot more info on you than your boys or your girlfriends and things like that. Now, I do believe there is a distinction between your relationship with your partner and your relationship with your fellas and your girls. Those are just two different things that shouldn't affect you. But if you're open and honest about who they are and the communication with them and your partner is there, I don't see no real problems with certain things. Like, let's say, Rob, you have things going on in your house, but it's hard for you to communicate them with her. So you talk to somebody outside of it. You want someone else's perspective on it. Does that affect the relationship inside the house because you went outside of it to have the conversations that you couldn't have with them? Does that make you feel a certain way? Would that make her feel a certain way? And I mean, the question goes to you too as well. I'm just trying to get inside the mind of people who feel as if it's betrayal or there's some type of controlling thing with this. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see. I feel like if you can talk to if you can talk to your boys about how you feel towards your spouse, then you can talk to your spouse about how you feel about your spouse. But that's just me. Those are my initial thoughts.
No, you're absolutely right. Go ahead, Cindy. You want?
I was gonna say there is also the element though of respecting what your partner does and doesn't want the world to know, because it would be disrespectful if you were to share something you knew that they were uncomfortable with you sharing, even if it was being honest or open or whatever. Because like there are certain things that my husband wouldn't want people to wouldn't want other, like if I were to share this with my friend, he wouldn't be happy about that, because it would be like, why did you share that like part of our lives with somebody that's not in it? And so there is cases where like secrecy is necessary, but it's between you two. If it ever goes off into an extra person within the relationship, unless it's like planning a party, it's really not a good sign, because if you're starting to be secretive around any issue with your partner, whether it's a person you're talking to, a place you're going to, a thing that you're involved in, typically secrecy indicates that you're not supposed to be doing it for some reason. Like, you don't have a reason to be secret if it's not a bad thing. It's kind of the whole thing with just anybody committing crimes. When they act suspicious, like, why are you acting suspicious if you have nothing to hide? So we have to pay attention to that, like when we're in relationships, like, because our body language is going to give off indicators about whatever's happening. But as long as those signs aren't there, like as long as they are being forthcoming, you are aware of these people. They aren't like hiding people behind their back, or like you come across a text, who's that? Oh, the bank. Like, okay, sure. So it's equal parts like respect, but also equal parts being wary and aware of what is happening, because I think that's kind of where some people get tricked, I guess, if that's the best word, where the ones that are like, all of a sudden they find their wife sleeping with some random person in the neighborhood and they're like, what? I had no idea. It's because they weren't paying attention to the times that their wife was being secretive. So I think it's anytime somebody's being secretive, something else is going on, whether they're unhappy, they're having an affair, they are doing something else that they shouldn't be doing. I don't even know what else you'd be doing, but yeah, to me, like, secrecy is instantly going to be an indicator that something else is wrong. I don't think you can really have any other interpretation of secrecy unless it's like a surprise for you or something.
Straight up. I grew up the long way and the hard way, and I had to do a whole lot of maturing. And I could tell you like this, she knows my friends. She knows my family. I know hers. We know who we talk to. I used to be quiet. I used to didn't say nothing, especially when I was stressed out. I would get real quiet. And me growing up in a tough environment, I used to want to isolate. So I wouldn't say nothing. Like I could be going through something and I won't say nothing to nobody. And we balanced out over time because my wife is private, very, very, very. She's not gonna relate anything. So I had to learn how to balance because I was like an open book and I would be talking to anybody. And then I learned the value. I learned the fact that you can't do that. You cannot do that. You cannot tell everybody your business. It's unfortunate because people will try to use that against you. They will try to stifle your plans, or they judge you. Like they'll judge you in a way, or they'll use. You know what I mean? Like some people want to see you with problems, and they feed off that. So what I learned at the end of the day, don't say nothing, but I do talk to her now. And I've learned how to express myself where I don't shut down. Because I used to want to just go in a corner and she'll be like, "What's up with you?" And I'm like, "Yo, I'm having these issues. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to see nobody. And I'm still like that in a way, but I won't shut her out now. I make sure to express however I'm feeling, whichever way now, so that she knows. Again, I don't want to know everything she talks about unless it's a problem. And it's the same for her with me and my people. Unless it's a problem that needs to be solved, if it's an emergency or something, we don't really worry about, you know what I'm saying, what I'm not checking for her conversation. She's not checking for mine because at the end of the day, we know that we coming home. She knows that I'm coming home. And like you said, Sydney, like anything, all of the sneak stuff, she has the code to my phone. We have our conversations with our people right in front of each other. My circle is very small on purpose. And she respects us being men. And I respect her being woman. Now, if it's something that needs to be expressed, then of course we'll sit to and hash it out. And what I learned too, with her being a woman, I started asking her how she feels because I didn't realize how much women bottle up, and they keep working and keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going, and a lot of times you don't even know you might be dealing with a powder keg because they hold so much in from all of the pressures of society that now I even started to ask how she feels and how she processing what's going on with your day. And we know that we can tell each other anything. But I think, being old school, some things, I'm not like, I wouldn't get on the phone with you deep and be like, "Yo, go tell my lady everything we talked about," unless it was a situation that you needed assistance with, or if you needed advice, I might ask her, you know what I'm saying? How can I help him? Whoop de whoop. But like you said, it's stuff that she wouldn't want nobody to know, stuff that I wouldn't want nobody to know. And I've learned over time to keep that right there. And a lot of times don't say nothing. And then, I learned this too. If it involves a decision, consult her first. I learned that the hard way too. Like, sometimes you want to just go and make these decisions, but a lot of times, because I had to realize who was really in my corner, and then also it could be kind of disrespectful if I go make a decision without concerning her. And then a lot of times I'll make a bonehead decision. And she's like, yo, you should have just talked to me first. Would you do that, because I used to be real gullible. So, it's levels to it, but as far as what's going on today, yeah, we know what's up. You know what I'm saying? We know each other, and we could kind of feel each other out to where now I know if she has a problem or she has an issue, and she knows, because like you said, Sydney, she gonna watch my body. She gonna watch how I'm acting, my mood, and I have to say what's going on anyway.
Also wanted to mention, I actually made this mistake early in our relationship. He had some issues because of his dad and his past. And I, at the time, we were only together a year and a half to 2 years at the time. And we were both in our early 20s. We got evicted from from our apartment, and like we were going through all sorts of stuff. And so he was having a lot of the issues, and I reached out to some of his friends, family members, and a few of my male friends to figure out, like, how do I work with this? Like, how can I reach him? How can I help him? I want to do something. Like, I don't want to leave him for this, but it's getting to the point where, like, I can't take it. And that ended up giving one of my male friends the signal, okay, I'm going to come in and try and sabotage this relationship and try and convince her to leave him, because he basically detected, like, oh, this relationship is vulnerable. I'm secretly interested in you, so I'm going to try and snag you from that relationship. And I kind of fell a little bit into it, where I started to question, like, oh, maybe I should leave, because maybe it isn't a good idea for me to be in this relationship. But obviously I ended up, I realized that I loved him far more than the person that was trying to convince me that he cared about me. And we decided to, like, really work together and, like, start from the ground up and, like, rebuild our whole relationship and figure out our habits and everything like that. And he did end up beating those behaviors that he had picked up. And he's definitely very, very different than the person that I was dating 8 years ago, or however many years ago it was now. So it does have consequences to start sharing. I shared too much of my relationship with that person, and that I was lucky that my other friends and family members were understanding, because I could have also damaged their image of him. I could have damaged their image of myself, because God forbid, maybe they didn't believe me or think that I was, like, just scheming to get him in trouble or whatever. Like, there could have been all sorts of interpretations. We hear about all the time where people try and make up stuff for attention, for money, or whatever. So, like, there could have been a number of scenarios that could have occurred for me doing that, but I got lucky. We were able to repair our relationship. I was able to maintain the relationships with the good people in our lives, but yeah, it can be costly if you share the wrong things with the wrong people.
We call that pillow talking.
You're muted.
My bad. You want to keep your individuality. I want my spouse to understand I'm not stripping you of your identity. When you came and we met, you were who you were, and I was who I was. Our union is only meant to grow together, and that comes with trial and error. Both of you said some key points, and I've been on that side too, where you would give a little too much information, whether it's to your cousins or your uncles or just someone that you hang out with a lot. And either you tell so much that they become envious of it and they want it, or you paint your spouse in a picture that is unflattering. You didn't mean to, but you did it. And when you talk when you talk negatively about your partner to other people, you know what that does. It gives them the impression that you're not happy there. And if they're really friends, they're going to look at that and say, well, why are you still there? And then they're going to take out their hostility towards him because they feel as if, oh, you're doing something to him or her and we ain't having it. So I don't believe that your personal life should go outside of the bedroom. There's things that you can speak on, but anything regarding if y'all had an argument, or keep all of that in the house. Don't even tell your family about it. A lot of men and women out here that's close to us, they don't know or understand the dynamics or the complications with relationships. They only can see from the outside looking in, and your experience might be a little more elevated than theirs, or maybe they're wise enough to be able to tell you, look, why are you talking to me about it? Like, if it's like a grandmother or something like that, and you go to them talking about, why are you talking to me about it? Go talk to them. Keep that there. They'll tell you too. They'll even correct you.
Also, the
like
problem
if it's a real
with
friend.
too.
Yeah. So a lot of this stuff should just be kept to yourself. There was something else I wanted to say too. Oh, it was some back to what Rob said about getting counsel, because this is another problem that people have too, and I've heard this a lot. I agree, you're supposed to be the leader in the household as a man. However, there are circumstances where whoever it is that you are seriously involved with is supposed to be able to give counsel. If you can't get counsel from them, then what is the point? And Jason has said this on a number of occasions, and I agree. Leadership is more than just making all the rules and paying all the bills. It's deeper than that. You got to know when to allow or give space for your relationship to have this ebb and flow. You know, it's not a dictatorship. It's not about power and control. It's about a common objective that you're both on the same wavelength for. How can you be doing one thing and then it's like you expect the other person to just kind of go along with it, not really understanding that maybe you should listen a little bit. I'm hearing people say, all right, I'm the man, I'm the leader. If I make a decision and I fuck up, then I fucked up. But let me do it. Let me, like, I don't necessarily agree with that. You want to mitigate the problem or the possibilities of failure as much as possible, but you don't want to take that part of a man away from him, where you don't look at him like he's capable of making sure that everything's going to be covered either. Rewinding back, there's things I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to tell my wife more than I'm going to tell anybody else anything, period. That's just the bottom line to it. Because you're not laying next to them. You're laying next to her. And then if you get sick or whatever, they're not going to be able to do too much for you. You know, it's supposed to be a pecking order. It's man, woman, child. And people be letting too many folks in their business. Y'all on the internet telling too much of your stuff. And it's like you're in a pool with nothing but sharks. And Sydney, you said it yourself. And I've been there before too. You go and run your mouth to people and they will try to capitalize on it. And then it'll sound appeasing. They'll convince you that they are the best candidate for you. They'll try to sway you. They take your information and use it against you, prey on your weaknesses and all that. If you ain't strong, like if you weren't strong in that and you would have just gave into it, you would have found out the hard way that he was not what you thought he was going to be. And you would have messed up your marriage for something that was temporary. A lot of them folks just be lusting. They just want what they see because it looked good at the time. They don't really be wanting it. They want it because somebody has it. Y'all be just chasing after things for the wrong reasons. But yeah, I don't think you should be telling people too much of your problems.
Yeah, like I said, I learned that the hard way, man. Like, and you're absolutely right. It could be family. Like sometimes you could tell a person some trouble you're having, and then you'll call them next week and they be like, "Yo, you still having that trouble?" And they'll be like, "Wait, when I told you that was that." You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to leave that right there. But it's it's unfortunate. Some people might think they're protecting you using that. Like you said, oh, well, that person is a problem, I'm for you, and But at the same time, it's ultimately your decision. So I did have to learn over time. And we've had numerous arguments, like we said, about what we call pillow talking. To where it's like, yo, stop. And then she'd tell me all the time, that's going to bite you in the butt. Shouldn't have said that. Shouldn't have did that. And she was absolutely right. And you know what I'm saying? I paid, and I had to learn. And I was an open book. But then I had to find out. I found out again who is there. And when you get our age, you realize it's probably only 2 or 3 people that you could trust with your info anyway. even with family going, I ain't tell nobody, but as soon as you tell family something, they gonna pass it till it come back around. The work area, same thing. I mean, it's just natural for people to pass info. And they got that saying, misery loves company. So some people want to see you struggling. I've had people tell me, you gotta have some kind of problems. And it's like, yeah, I've got all the problems in the world. I ain't finna tell you about it. You know what I'm saying? It's because it's just not. Why are you looking for that? That's what I want to know. What in your right mind, if you say you love me, why do you want to see me struggle? I think that's one quality I do have, to where I want to see people win. Never really been jealous. There was a point in time where I was around some people, and their character traits was rubbing off, and I had to kind of like shake that off, because I've never been a jealous person. I've never been into gossip. Let me say that. Now we will call a spade, and at times I was the spade, the one that needed to be called out. You know what I'm saying? And still today, I'm paying for things that I've done. But to want to see people unhappy, to want to ruin people's relationships, you know what I mean? I'm the type of person, if you like it, I love it. As simple as that. And I do my best not to judge, because I used to be very judgmental. And I found out that that was coming from low self-esteem that I had. And I didn't know how to love myself. So as far as our relationship now, again, over time, I had to become private, and I had to learn. And okay, you could tell this stuff, because nobody's perfect, right? So you know what I mean? But what I did stop doing was dumbing my situation down, or complaining about situations to make somebody else feel good. We're not finna do that. And then I became a solution-oriented person, to where if I have a problem, now I'm gonna work to solve it before I quit and run, before I pillow talk to somebody else, before I call my family and say, yo, da, 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 da. And now I learned over time, that if this is an issue that needs to be spoken, I'm going to go to her first. How you feel about this? I probably should get counseling. Me being a counselor, a school counselor, I need more counseling than anybody, because it's dawning on me. It's just beginning to dawn on me how my past affect me now. But I definitely, anything that I do, I don't care now if I spend $1, I'm gonna consult with my wife first, unless it's something that she knows that I do, that she's okay with. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be like, hey baby, I need to spend $20, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? But if it's something that, like the way I'm going about it, I'll be like, hey, I'm thinking about spending $20. What do you think?
One of the stories you told, Mel, also happened with that situation that I was explaining. One of the friends that I had in college, I was also talking to her about what was happening, because we were in a lot of the same classes, and she hung out with me while she was with him, and she was one of the types that she was just kind of like dating everyone. She was just out there going to bars, going to whatever. I think we met at either school or work. But anyways, she was constantly trying to convince me, like, you should break up with him. Like, you should just live your life and like go out and meet people. Like, you should just let him go so you can just hoe out. I guess, like, that's what she wanted me to do. And I was not interested. I've never been interested in that life. I've always been like I want to date, find the person I'm going to marry, and be done with it. Like, I don't want to do all that extra drinking, concert. No, I'm not interested. And so I had to end the friendship with her because I, one, did not, like, by choosing to be in the taken life, I couldn't do the things that she did with her. Like, I had no reason to hang out with her because I wasn't going to be going to bars. I wasn't going to be going into the city. I wasn't going to be going on drinking cruises like she was doing, because I now had a partner. And I also had to end the friendship because after all the things I had said, I couldn't hang out with her anymore because I felt uncomfortable justifying. Like, she kept asking me, and I had to keep justifying all of the things that he did because I wanted to defend him. And even though I had said those things, she interpreted it one way, even though it was not in the same, like, my experience of that situation was not the same as what she was interpreting from the story. And so she had a more negative reaction because she doesn't know him. She doesn't know all of the good sides of him. She's only looking at, like, the things I told her. And so it was very hard for me to go back on everything that I had said because she now had this picture in her head of who he was. And even though I would try and convince her otherwise, she had already formed that picture in her head. And so at once it got to the point that we were already kind of going separate ways because I was moving on to a different job and I was leaving college and everything like that. And so after that whole situation, that ended the friendship permanently, where I just couldn't talk to her anymore because I didn't want to keep defending the relationship that I had chosen to stay in. So what you were saying, Mel, made me think of that.
It goes back. It brings me to this thread that I read. Right now, it's not even a thread. It's a Twitter post. This young lady, she said that men sabotage other men. They don't hold each other accountable. They don't fellowship. And I posed the question to her, and I said, I beg to differ. I think men typically are more uplifting. They're more supportive than women are to women. I don't see a lot of fellowship within the echo chamber at all. I see a lot of what you just described. I see that, where you will give out the most ridiculous advice. You're going to tell a person to give up on a relationship and then just go out here and be free. That's what I get. And then somebody chimed in that wasn't the original poster, and they said, "Oh, you a lie. Prove me wrong." So I'm asking both of y'all the question. We don't have numbers. We can't really establish a solid, concise yes or no, but just based off of what you've observed for yourself, who is more likely to provide real fellowship, the brotherhood or the sisterhood? I'll tell you a quick little story. This was over 20 years ago. I was dealing with somebody, and she went back and told one of her girlfriends about our intimacy. She spoke too much about it. And her friend was curious. So guess what happened? The friend tried me. Needless to say, for one, you can't tell everybody your business. For two, that's not really your friend. And dudes, we're not doing that. I'm not about to sit up. I be telling my man all the time, nigga, stop asking me about my sex life with my ex-wife. Why are you asking me about this? That's like, I get guy talk. I'm not talking about my private life with you. I just don't believe that some stuff should be discussed ever. So I'm just asking. When it comes to telling one person the truth, holding one person accountable, who does it more, men or women?
I think it's 50-50. I think it's promoted different though. Like we had that conversation last week. Like, so your trustworthies is gonna tell you the right thing, whether you like it or not. Sometimes you be mad at them, like, man, I don't want to hear that. Or quit complaining, go get your mind right. Or you got a good one, you need to go get right. But then you got that other side where it's like, yeah, let me see if I can sabotage, I try to backdoor you or whatever, or just to see you struggling because you're in a position that they're not. I think like it's not promoted because you know how they say women don't tell nothing, like a woman will take a secret to the grave, which is true. But a lot of times women are supportive just as much as men are. I think a lot with men, with women, again, it ain't gonna go nowhere. So if a woman tell her confidant something, they're not gonna say it. A lot of time with men, it either go in one ear out the other, or they forget. Like they ain't gonna say. They don't even want to have them conversations. Like you're like, bro, man, I don't want to hear that, right? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes a lot of your friends, they'll change the subject. You be like, man, I'm going through something. They're gonna crack a joke. They're gonna try to get your mind off. They're gonna tell you to pray on it. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's one thing that you what you just said is you can't tell everybody everything. And over time, hopefully you have a strong support system to where when you do need to say some things, it's not like that. Like some things is gonna be off limits anyway. Like you said, what we do in here, that's our business. You know what I'm saying? But little stuff, you know, did she cook? Or what did y'all do? Or where y'all going? You know what I mean? Because your best friends is gonna ask you 1,000 questions anyway, and they're also gonna know when you up and when you down. But your best friends, whether male or female, are always gonna tell you most of the time stuff you don't want to hear. Like, man, you complaining right now. You need to tighten up. Ain't nothing. You acting like a baby. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna check you, and a lot of times you'll be mad. You don't even want to talk to them no more. But they're gonna tell you the right thing to do. And your best friends, a lot of times too, they're gonna defend your significant other. They're gonna tell you straight up, like, yo, you acting stupid. You need to go make that right. Like, I hear what you're saying. Woo, woo. You need to go make that right. There's a misunderstanding, whatever you did, you need to go fix it. And like I said, a lot of times. So I think when the media and the society get into it, and then, you know, social, I'm so glad, again, I ain't have social media because I would not be here. You know what I'm saying? And I had all those bad habits, you name it. But I know now, again, I got certain people I talked about it, certain things with. I got certain people that understand they're going through similar things that I know that will go to war for me. And I could talk to them about certain things. And then I got certain people where I'm gonna play dumb. That's that. You know what I'm saying? One thing I know with my wife now is I may not say something today, but eventually I'm gonna, okay, you know what? Yesterday I was feeling some kind of way. Whoop-de-whoop. I just couldn't express it because I was in the zone and I didn't want to, like, you know what I mean, throw off the vibe. I didn't want to say something to upset you or whatever, but this is how I feel. So regardless of what, like you said, when you have your friend, your best friend, and y'all trying to reach a common goal, then we share what needs to be shared to move forward. But yeah, as far as that stuff, the media and all that, when society, when people's opinions get into it, it'll make it look like this and girls do this and that. But I think all that stuff is equal.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying, with a lot of what you just said. When you have a relationship, as we've all been saying, you're choosing to commit to that relationship. And as such, you owe the relationship the respect that it deserves, the time that it deserves, the honesty. And if to uphold that, you have to be that for that person, not everyone else around you. Where with the way our brains work, with the way we give out attention, with everything that we have to do as human beings today, like we're not back in the 1850s where all you have to do is grow your vegetables and milk your cow and like make sure you don't have cockroaches in your house. Like today we have the phone bill, we have the internet bill, we have the Netflix bill, we have the DoorDash bill, the food bill, the everything. Like we have to buy everything now. And we don't have the bandwidth to give everything of ourselves to everyone and everything that comes along. And for our own health of ourselves and our relationships, we should feel obligated, essentially, or at least pushed to give our best to the ones that treat us the best. Like we should be giving ourselves to the ones that really matter the most to us, that give us the most in a uplifting way. I don't mean like be friends with the richest friend. Don't be that person. But like the friend that's there for you, the friend that listens to you, the friend that picks up the phone when you call them, or they call you because they care and they want to know how you are. The friend that asks for pictures of your kids because they love your kids as much as they care about you. There's people that are worth spending time with, and there are people that are not. The ones that want to drag you off to the restaurant because they know that they can get you to pay for their coffee. The friends that only want to hang out with you because they want to get gossip out of you or something like that. The friends that don't give a shit about you but just want to post pictures of all of you on social media because they can brag about how many friends they have. Like we have to be able to differentiate who's worth giving our time to. And so many people have these bad relationships with their spouses because in their minds, they're putting their friends first. They're putting their social media status first. They're putting their business first. And they don't care about the fact that their partner is there in the background. Like, why are you posting this about me? Why are you saying this about me? Why are you treating me like this? Why are you telling your friends talk to your friends about me like this? There's so many ways you can degrade your relationship by being friends with the wrong people and sharing the wrong things with them. So minimizing who we even dedicate our time to makes a huge difference in the relationships around you, because you're able to see more clearly who's worth spending time with, who you are talking to. And as you minimize the number of people you interact with, you can also see who's worth giving your time to. Because as you par back, you might see like, oh, this person I thought was my friend, I don't actually enjoy talking to them. I don't actually want to hang out with them. So it's really important to scrutinize all the relationships that you have, because they'll affect, as I said, they'll affect your mental health, and they'll affect the health of your relationships, the people around you. Especially if you're choosing to be friends with people that don't align with the life that you think that you should be living, or that's good for you to live. Like, that's why parents are always like, are you sure you want to hang out with that person? Like, why do you want that person in your life? Because they're going to drag you into those same behaviors. So if you want to be living a different life, you have to stop hanging out with the people that live the life that you're trying to get away from. And I think so many people hold on to their friends because they either feel bad, or they still want to say that they have those friends, or they just want to like hold on to them so they can still use them or something. But like, if you want to actually change your life and you want to have a good relationship with people around you, you have to let go of all the other people that are idiots and not contributing anything to the life that you're trying to live, and are just trying to pull you away and distract you and manipulate and do whatever else weird, crazy people do.
That's a good 80-90% of social media, man. I ain't been on Twitter in a long time. I just been jumping back on it. Rob see me, man. I be everywhere now. Like, for the last few days, I just be scrolling and commenting, and the stuff that I be seeing, man, I can't sit here and say it's 50-50, bro, because they be up here talking about some of the wildest stuff, bro. You see it. I know you see it. It be some of the most ratchet shit, the most trifling stuff. And I'll be thinking to myself, oh my goodness. And y'all friends with people like this? So put it in perspective. You healed. You went through the journey. You already lived this lifestyle already. So you know what comes with it, what happens when you indulge in that type of stuff. They still think it's cute. Oh, go ahead and be butt naked on social media. Get your views, get your likes. Go ahead and run them numbers up. But you trying to date this person. And then on top of that, so you're dating the person, your friends, they looking at you like, seriously? You taking that seriously? They're gonna look at you like, oh yeah, you a fool. Your real friends are gonna tell you, oh yeah, you done bumped your fucking head. Or they might even try her for real. Like, there's dudes out here that will try them because the presentation gives the impression that you're still available and open for business. And I don't care how much you say my body, my choice, and you're insecure for this, that, and the third. When you put yourself out there in a certain light with your attitude and your lingo and how you communicate and talk to people, it is very off-putting. City was spot on. Guilty by association. So I watched a total of 7 videos today of shoplifters, women going to jail for shoplifting and stealing out the there was one video, I think she was an African lady. And you know what I don't like about y'all? And it ain't just y'all, it's like the Hispanic, all the foreigners that come over here and get the jobs. You know what I don't like about y'all motherfuckers? Y'all be acting like you don't speak English. Y'all be lying like shit. All of you speak. How did you get the job if you didn't speak English? You have to be able to talk to the customers. Nobody is dumb. And then the officer went to confront her. the lady, she stole over $14,000 from the store. They were watching her. They got the paper trail. So when the officers come to confront her, she spent a half an hour trying to pretend like she didn't understand her Miranda rights. You say what? This? Huh? Yes. For a half an hour. She knew what she was doing. Eventually, they locked her up. Because soon as they say, all right, I'm putting the cuffs on you because you playing with us, that's when she started talking like she had some sense. No, I'm not trying to go to jail. I'm telling you the truth. Oh, what happened before? You spoke English. You didn't like, all right. That's what y'all be dealing with.
I have a quick one too. I just heard about this one recently.
Y'all got all the common sense in the world.
Oh, sorry. There's a woman recently that videotaped herself doing a Target call, and she put that up on social media. Turns out in the video, she was filming herself shoplifting. She was scanning fake tags, so it was like a lower price, so it looked like she was scanning her products, but it was all wrong. But because she filmed it, the police saw it, and they were like, oh, look, she, and then they matched it up with the CCTV cameras, and was like, oh yeah, that's her. And then they just went to her house, which she said in her video. Like, she showed herself going home and everything, and I'm like, oh my god, are you really that dumb?
I mean, yo, we in the soundbite era.
That's the shit.
But we in the soundbite era, right? So we talked about this last week. This stuff sells, bro. Like, half the people that you see on the socials doing this and that, they ain't even like that, man. They ain't like that. They just doing, they know it sells. You know what I'm saying? And I heard Clarissa Shields, the boxer, she said, people don't want what you could give them. They want what you got, want what you have. In a lot of cases, and that's why I say it's 50-50 deep, because men shiesty too. They're going to try. A lot of times, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times you get when you grow up, you get your best friend, bro code. Okay, I don't want what you got. You don't want what I got. That's just off limits. Ooh, especially if you got children, that's your wife. We ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? But men be shiesty, and you know, at the workplace, at the grocery store, the gas station, they can see a lady pumping gas. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? Ooh. You know what I mean? That's where trust come in and all that. And accountability and responsibility and respectfulness. And like I said, I came the longest way to where I know now. You know what I'm saying? But when we seeing this stuff on Twitter and all that, you already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? People try and go viral because they feel like, and what I dislike about it now is that you almost can't live without socials. Like, so I had this argument for 5 years with my people, 10 years when Facebook came out. I refused. I was like, why do I look? They like, oh, I'm about to eat a bowl of cereal and then go to bed. I'm about to go walk my dog. Woo, woo. And I'm sitting here like, that's not me. And then they was like, well, if you want your business to flourish, you got to get socials, da, 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 da. So I got on it and I found myself doing that. Like, I started venting. I was dropping posts if I felt some kind of way about something, da, 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 da. I get mad. I'm like, going crazy. Like, and I had to fall back because the first thing was like, yo, who are you talking to? You know what I'm saying? Like, who are you really talking to? And then at the same time, like, yo, this is, you know what I'm saying? Socials. And a lot of times when I post some negativity, I was getting the attention. And then I'd be mad, like, yo, and then I forget, like, okay, I just put my business out there. So it's the same with relationships, right? It's like, yo, a lot of times you would think you just be talking to somebody and they eating it up. And if they're conniving, they're going to see if they could use it to get what you got. You know what I'm saying? But again, if they're your real people, though, they're going to be like, man, you sound crazy. You need to go take a nap. Go drink some tea, be like, yo, go, dude, what's your thing you like? You like to watch TV? You need to watch TV or whatever. I'll call you later. You know what I'm saying? And your real friends are going to cut you off, too. Like, if you get real negative, they're not even going to let you. Like, I got friends that, and I know I used to go down the rabbit hole, and they like, yo, man, I don't even want it, man. You talking crazy, man. Call me when you got some sense, man. I'll talk to you. You know what I'm saying? So,
or they'll just tell you straight up, like, go talk to them. Like, don't talk to me. Go over there and get it over with. Like, what are you doing talking to me?
Right. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear that. Or they're going to say, like I've learned to say, okay, we got this issue.
I've said that shit too.
Yeah. Now it's like, okay, you know what? We got a problem. How are we going to solve it? How are we going to solve it? We're not going to dwell on this problem. What is the solution? And without being judgmental, like I like that segment to where we listen, but we don't judge, right? So again, it's got to be a balance, because at the end of the day, most of us is trying to get to the bag. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to get to the bag, and attention spans are short. So you can't even really get a person to watch more than 5 minutes or something, 2 minutes. Like even now, the music, a song more than 2 minutes now is like unheard of, where you go back to the 80s, song was 10. I remember Outkast put out that one beat, and I forgot the name of it. The song was like 5-10 minutes. I would play it all night, had to go to sleep to it. But now they're like, man, if your song longer than 2 minutes, 2 seconds, ooh. So I think over time, regardless of what, you learn who you could trust. You'll learn the hard way. You know what I'm saying? And you don't make the mistakes. And if you do have a person that you could trust, then you keep y'all issues in-house and make sure that whatever the case is, y'all solving them together. Without, like you said, Deep, earlier, and like you said, Sydney, we're going to solve this in-house. And then if it's something that's helpful to somebody else, we could share. You know, if it's a problem. And that's what I like. That's why I keep coming back even to this outlet for us, because I know in my heart that my intentions are good now. And I know that I'm doing this to see if I can help someone. And I even go as far as my wife and I, we watch our shows back to critique. And there was times when she's like, what wrong with you? Why you ain't say this? What was you thinking? No. You know what I'm saying? You see, sometimes I have to come back and clear that up. Like, yo, you know what? I said this last week, but this is what I really mean. And because we know that hopefully, again, somebody is, you know, getting something out of this. And what I hope and pray is that if we do get syndicated, that we don't have to change our morals. We don't have to become that group that is just saying anything for sound bites, or we got to get on here and start doing weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? I can't have to compromise our morals, you know, because if that's the case, then I'd rather just keep doing it like this, because then I could be myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm good on the political stuff. I'm good on trying to people please and switch up my flow or my approach. This is what you get 100% of the time, every time. And if you don't like it, there's other places where you can go that will cater to your needs. You want to be lied to? I'm not about to do it. If you want people to be honest with you and you can act like an adult, cool. But you shouldn't have to keep things from your peoples. You shouldn't have to lie to them. Put it this way, if you're fearful of losing anyone, they ain't for you then. Because if they can't handle the truth, or they don't like what you got to say, and it's going to be an issue, 9 times out of 10, you need to go ahead and reevaluate what you're doing there in the first place. I've told people before, you doing too much, bro. You're doing way too much. You need to stop what you're doing. Chill out. Stop thinking about women all the time. That's why you keep getting into shit, because all you think about is these women, man. Worry about your kids, worry about getting your money together and all that. Everything else will come later. But you hard-headed. And he's done the same thing to me. I don't particularly want to hear it, but it's like, it's the truth. And that's what people need more of. So when I see people arguing and getting offended, you put this out there. You made it public. Are you rage baiting? Are you doing it for attention? Maybe. But people do act like that and do move like that. And it's unhealthy. It really is. So my last thoughts on all of it. And I'll give it to you because I see you wanted to say something. My last thoughts on it. If you're going to date someone, that's one thing. I still think you should be honest and upfront about it, especially if you're dating multiple people. If you're dating multiple people, you absolutely need to be upfront about everything that you're doing to a certain extent. If you're in a relationship with a person, they should be first in line to know what's happening with you and vice versa. There shouldn't be outside forces. And on top of that, neither man or woman, you should be giving anyone any type of reason to think that they can be replaced if you're really serious about them. You shouldn't be making it that much more easier for the enemy. You don't even know who the enemy is at this point. It could be your brother or some crazy shit like that. Like, it be on the inside. It's always from the inside most of the time. It's not always the external factors. People that you just met at a club. It be right around the corner from you. You know what I'm saying? So y'all thinking that you can just smile and laugh and kiki and ha and tell everybody about your sexual prowess and how they did this for you and did that for you. No, I need to zip it up. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I actually have a poem that I think would be kind of fitting. Really, I think that would be fitting for the conversation. I wrote this poem about the give and take that relationships require, and I also kind of touched on how we bring our past into our relationships within it. It's short, so I thought it might be a good fit for this. It's called Consistency. Like the rasp curling your tired toes, back and forth we flow, refining each other's pathways, nudging each other to shear the past from our stifled cells. Our hands follow each other, chasing our own calloused edges to find where they can fit together. Like the rasp the gentle grit collected in these pores from those I thought I loved or lost meets yours. Steady, surely, we polish ourselves, creating crystal futures for us and our images of soul. So I thought that kind of fit because it touches on the fact that when you're in a relationship, you need to rely on each other. You have to kind of let go of some aspects of your past to be together. And it requires a give and take. You can't have a healthy relationship if one person is doing all the work or is being dragged behind the other one, or if like one partner's like, I have my friends, but you can't have your friends. So there's always going to be an element of compromise within any relationship. And I think it's really important to remember that for your partner, because sometimes we're going to have to make compromises that we don't want to make for the good of our relationship. And it can be very hard for people to choose to make compromises, especially if they feel like they want it all or should have it all or should be able to get exactly what they want. But if you really, really want to maintain your relationship and have a good relationship with your partner, at some point you're going to have to be willing to make sacrifices that you wouldn't normally want to do. It's not abusive for your partner. I actually had a friend say that to me, that it's abusive if your partner has you do something that you don't want to do, even if it's like really minor. Like she was trying to argue that your partner shouldn't be able to tell you anything at all. Like he shouldn't even be able to be like, go do the dishes, please, or whatnot. Anyway, it's required. We absolutely have to compromise for our partners. We have to be willing to give in sometimes and give them what they need as much as we request that they do the things that we need from them. So yeah, it's a back and forth, and to have a good relationship, you really should maintain that balance.
Yeah, I'm thinking a lot of relationships become ruined and irreparable when the information gets to the public. So I would encourage people to be private. Keep your business to yourself. When you make that commitment, if you really made that commitment, then your first consultant in between and last should be your spouse. And to a certain extent, you even have to keep your family out of your business, as long as it's not damaging. Don't hold nothing in that's, you know what I mean, destructive, something that's hurting you, because then, you know, that could hurt you in the long run. And what I would say too is, before you get in these relationships, think about your future and vet people out. Get to know people, get to know who that person is, get to know their family, and think about your future. Because a lot of times we rush and you don't think 30 years down the line, 40 years down the line. But when you do make that commitment, remember that every day is not going to be perfect. Everything is 50-50. I think the old traditional ways are out the window. You got to cook and clean, and I got to work and pay. You know what I'm saying? It's a new day now to where all those things is 50-50. Guess what? If you don't feel like cooking, I'm cooking. I might cook you Popeyes. I'll cook you some KFC in a minute. You know what I'm saying? But all of that, if the house need cleaning, do that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, and when you make that commitment, before you go to anyone else to solve your problems, do it in-house. And if it's something that both of you can't resolve, then maybe seek counseling from a trustworthy person, even a professional that you know is not going to put your business out there in a way that could be damaging to both of y'all. But once you make that commitment, that is your partner. That's who you chose to solve problems with. There will be problems. A lot of times, the better you do, the more problems you will see. Like they say, more money, more problems. And a lot of people will think they want what you got, but they just want to see you off your pivot, off the good foot. So when you have that partner, I think you owe it to them to make sure that they know how you feel and where you want to go, so that you can grow on the same page instead of growing off that page.
Shout outs to Rob and Sydney, man. I want to say thank you for pulling up. Salutes to everybody who's watching. Hope you got something out of this discussion. Like, repost, share this out, email me, DM me, send me topics, send me questions. Do you agree, disagree with anything going on up here? We're very diverse and we're very open to the public. Nothing fancy about it. We just here to serve the community in our own way. So much love to everybody, man. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Let me bring it up one more time, because we about to get up out of here. But a big thank you. I did get that link. I'm gonna check that out. But y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night. I'm about to go grab me something here in a second. Y'all be easy. This is Assembly Excellence signing out.
Bye, everyone.